here's a question for you. When's the next general election going to be?
November the 14th. Save the date.
They should go in May, they will go in October. That'd be my guess.
I mean, it's the worst kept secret in Parliament, isn't it, that we're likely to be heading for a May election, and this budget date seems to confirm it.
My working assumption is we'll have a general election in the second half of this year.
2024 is widely expected to be the year that the UK heads to the polls to elect a new government and Prime Minister, or of course, re-elect Downing Street's current president, Rishi Sunak. But when will the next general election take place? Essentially, it's up to the incumbent Prime Minister to call an election, as long as it's within 5 years of the previous one. The first step is for the PM to formally request for the monarch, currently King Charles, to dissolve Parliament. The latest a Parliament can be dissolved is 5 years to the day since it first met. Therefore, the latest date that a Prime Minister can call an election is not 5 years since the previous election, but 5 years since the current Parliament started work. In 2019, Boris Johnson's winter Brexit election was held on December 12th, but MPs weren't sworn in until December 17th. This means that the latest date Rishi Sunak can call an election is December 17th, 2024. An election isn't held immediately. There will then be a formal campaign period. If the Prime Minister does hold out until the last minute, then that campaign period will last for a maximum of 25 working days. This makes the latest possible date that the next general election could be held January 28th, 2025. Historically, elections in the UK are held on the first Thursday in May. Therefore, there's a lot of speculation that the polling date might land on May 2nd, 2024. However, polling suggests that Rishi Sunak's Conservative Party is on track for massive losses, with Keir Starmer's Labour Party expecting to take power. This could act as a deterrent for the Prime Minister to hold an election. November is also rumoured to be a month to watch out for. It would allow for a de facto campaign launch at the Conservative Party conference in September and a giveaway autumn statement to butter up the electorate. This process of the Prime Minister calling an election whenever they fancy hasn't always been how things were done. A short-lived law called the Fixed Term Parliaments Act was passed in 2011. It meant that general elections had fixed dates which were bound by legislation. It was no longer in the Prime Minister's power to choose when Britons would go to the polls, and general elections were held on the first Thursday in May every 5 years. An early election could only be held under certain circumstances, such as if 2/3 of MPs agreed. This was the case in 2017, when then Prime Minister Theresa May announced her intention to hold a snap election.
We agreed that the government should call a general election.
MPs voted 522 to 13 in favour of an early election, which was held in June of that year. Following Boris Johnson's victory in 2019,
the Conservatives have formally won this general election.
His government introduced the Dissolution and Calling of Parliament Act, restoring the Prime Minister's power to call an election when they so choose. For more videos like this, subscribe to VFAX. A thumbs up and a comment would really help us out as well. You can also follow us on Instagram and TikTok. See you next time.